Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Combat Vision. Hey, this is a platform for our sponsors, supporters, volunteers, but most of all, is for our veterans, our combat veterans to be able to come on here, tell their story, talk about their pathways, how they're navigating life, what they're doing that's exciting, what they're doing that's not, what they're doing that's really been bad, and the things that have helped them along the way, and those things that they're doing to help others along their pathways. Hey, I totally had this awesome guy, good buddy of mine, Derek Hudnall. He's third Battalion, 5th Marines. We served together, went into combat together. He's a sheriff in Northern California. Ended up with some situation today. He worked last night's shift, so he's not going to be able to make it on. But I just want to say, hey, he's got a book called Turn Two. Awesome, great guy to talk to. Great guy that he's gonna come on at another time to talk about his book. He's going to talk about his life. He's going to talk about some amazing things. I got a lot of 3-5 buddies of mine, 3-5 corpsmen. I'm going to get them on from different times, but hey, I'm going to have Francisco Carrera here in a few minutes. I got my co-host right next to me, Chef JB Brown, world-renowned chef. He's got Chef's Kitchen coming up here in his segment. He's going to talk about a lot of really cool things that are going on and just the cool adventures. So, this platform has been amazing for me. Brian Colburn was on last week. We had some other things going on and just some incredible things. And we were talking a little bit earlier about the therapeutic effect, as we're waiting here for Francisco to pop on here. Pancho from, he does the podcast, the Field Op, and the artwork that was done by my wife. It's also in conjunction with CombatVetVision, Warrior Built, the PTSD Foundation, and his job opportunities that he has paved for other veterans and things of that nature. But we were talking about how the therapeutic effect to be here on the mic, to be able to talk about things. And there's veterans that want to talk about certain things. I was just talking to, another guy that works here that does Eric, who does the claims.
Yes.
And he's working on one right now. He's working on a veteran's claim right now. But there's things that either excite us, like going to get JB's grill so that he could kick off this really cool thing going on. And we're going to talk about that too. And JB, you want to talk about some of those things that just have excited you to be, able to speak in front of the mic?
Yeah, I mean, good afternoon, first off, and a big shout out to veterans out there that are listening to our podcast. We love you. We honor you. We're brother in arms, and we all work together. When I retired in 2017, 2019 was COVID, and then after COVID, we started coming out of our cocoon, so to speak, and everything started to be slower. I belong to a chefs association, past president, past chairman of the board, Hall of Fame. We used to have 368 chefs that here in Las Vegas. I mean, here in Vegas, it's the major leagues of our profession, and the chefs here strive to be the very best every day that we can be. And that's a good thing. But when COVID happened and the casinos closed down and the restaurants closed down, it was just like somebody shot us. It was like, how do you get started again? To keep the momentum going, it's real easy. We still had school going on when they came back. I got to be a founding father for Chef for Kids, feeding needy kids. Always worked on improving communities that I live with or live in to be of service to my fellow people. I think I learned a lot of that in the military also, to be of service. And that's a good thing. I know there's a lot of vets out there that want to be of service, but they don't know how. And I'm service of doing some things here at the Veterans Transition Resource Center. I serve as an officer here. I'm the treasurer for the group, and it's all volunteer. Nobody gets paid. but many hands make a job easier. And after COVID, we need more hands. We need more volunteers. And there's an array of a lot of things. I'm a chef, so I help honor flight. I do a Patriots for Pancake breakfast for them. We'll be doing one in November. I'll be visiting about that. We're going to be, we do claims. It was just announced that we're going to be the main sponsor for the Gentlemen's League here in Las Vegas. They're going to do a big poker tournament at Resort World, a world-class resort, and all the proceeds from that event is going to go to the Veterans Transition Resource Center. So it's a great process, and it's a great thing for us to be associated with the Gentlemen's League. And we'll be announcing that later on in the program. So there's just a lot of things that are going on. So if you like doing that, or you like feeding people, I do a lot of that. Tomorrow night, he was talking about our smoker. The guys here at our VTRC, John Stanton, he created this really nice, big, huge smoker. I can feed 5,000 on it. So it's a big trailered smoker, and we brought it down from, we keep it stored in Cold Creek. One, it doesn't get stolen, and two, it's a lot safer up there than it is here in Las Vegas or in Henderson. So we brought it down, Aaron and I. So Aaron, thank you so much. It really makes a great dinner for the chefs and for friends. I invited him tomorrow night, and some of the things that I'm doing is I'm doing different kinds, international house of sausages, andouille, Italian. I'm even doing a hatch chili sausage, bratwurst, of course, and we're going to smoke sea trout and have baked brazzino, which is sea bass. And for dessert, we're going to have a really nice cream cheese and apple strudel with caramel and vanilla glaze. So, I mean, I'm putting on, it's time for us to shine a little bit as a chef, feeding other chefs. A lot of people say, well, aren't you worried? Because, they're really critical. I found that chefs aren't critical of other chefs that much. I mean, they know what it takes to put on a party, especially for chefs. So we'll do our part. The only thing we can do is do the best we can. It's sort of like when we go to war, we do the best we can. Some days we win, some days we lose. It's just nature. So, but most of the things that I do today, I've been a chef for over 50 plus years. So it's been easy. I mean, it's easier now than it is when I first started because I know food a lot better. I say now food talks to me, and it really does. So it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. Hey, chef, we'll come back to this. We
Okay.
got Poncho on deck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and just want to get a couple things out with that. And
Oh, yeah, please.
Hey, and then we're gonna come back to Chef's Kitchen because I mean he's got a lot to talk about. That smoker was cool. We pulled it on the back of my truck, and it pulled it right off this mountain. Hour drive up the mountain. It was awesome. It was a great experience. So, hey, and he's got a lot of really awesome things to talk about. So we'll come back. Poncho, what's up? Are you on deck? How you doing, brother?
What's going on? No, Rod, get some. What's going on, everybody?
Hey, there you are with a field off in the back. There you go. Hey,
I was playing with, as you guys were doing your thing. I was already like, let me put that background.
Hey, that's cool, man. That's good. You got that up and running. Hey, so our podcast got mixed match. If you didn't notice, Poncho was live on mine. And these things happen because we are cross-referenced. We do a lot of things together. If you look at his podcast, it shows the CombatVetVision. It's got a lot of things on it. It's got the PTSD Foundation, Warrior Built, and we're coming to you live right out of the VTRC, which is in Las Vegas. This helps veterans here. Poncho's coming live from Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Where are you at?
Yep. Hollywood in
Florida.
The house, baby.
Hollywood, Florida.
Yeah. Hollywood, Florida. Yep.
Yes, sir.
And Poncho, go ahead, man. Talk a little bit about yourself. Poncho's a Marine. Francisco
we won't take
Carrera.
it against him.
Yeah. Marine.
Yeah, don't
we did a podcast. We did a podcast way back at Warrior Built when it was in the studio at Warrior Built, a lot like this, but not as sophisticated, not as put together as a studio. And we just did it voice, I think.
Yeah. So
right.
As a matter of fact, that's where the field up was kind of born.
And your idea, I remember you were thinking your brain started storming in there.
Yeah, that's my story. So, how's the saying? That's my story and I'll stick to it, so to speak. But I was a guest a couple of times in CombatVetVision back then, helping not only telling my story, but also kind of, helping veterans transition into the safety industry, getting them into a new career field. And and I kept pitching at you. I'm like, man, we should do this badass show called The Field Up, where we're just talking trash and blah blah blah. But at the time, and I mean, you were doing a lot of cool things, and you were super tied up with Warrior Built as well. So it wasn't the right timing. And when I was in the Middle East, I linked up with Brian, and I was like, man, I got this idea, and here I am 4 years later. Still kicking ass, taking names, still doing that podcast, helping veterans. So it's been a pretty cool adventure. So I got to thank you and Brian for giving me a venue and a podium for me to exercise this awesome, sexy ass accent that chicks dig.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. And you know what? I gotta get on your podcast again. I know, you've tuned up a lot of different things, and it's been awesome. And it was great to see you last week on my show, on your show, on my show. It was super awesome, man.
Yeah, I kept telling the wife, I'm like, oh my god, I had all these viewers, because a lot of my folks consume the show because I track the analytics on Spreaker. And then on Potlink, and they consume it as after hours. I mean, I even got followers in Okinawa, because you can see in the map where your show is being consumed at. And I was like, so it was just kind of weird. I mean, I have, about 5 on at a time. It's just a lot of my downloads happen to be after hours. So, but yeah, it was cool. I mean, so hey, if you were in that feed last time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow, and also go on the Field Up this Thursday, 6 p.m. your time. Sorry about that.
Nice. Yeah. Hey, we were talking about how therapeutic it is to be in front of the mic. To be able to talk and you speak your mind. Can you just talk about that a little bit? I know we got just a couple minutes, and then I'm going to give it back over to Chef, and he's got a lot of really cool things to talk about. But I want you to, just take some time to speak about that, and then, speak about your podcast a little bit and what it means and what it represents, so people know.
But, I know we used to when we used to do our, and huge shout out to Doc Bodo. I think he's watching the show. He's a good friend of mine as well. But yeah, when we used to do the groups at Warrior Built, you would say, hey, by me being here and telling my story, and you and me running this show is kind of like, being a little bit selfish, because, you running these groups also help you therapeutically. And I know we used to kind of josh at you every once in a while when you said that. However, now being 4 years deep into doing this, I get it, is what I want to tell you. I get it. Because me telling my story and being able to just sometimes, because on my show, like you, I've been very transparent. I've been in the sense of what's been going on. If I'm not all there, in the sense if I'm having issues, whatever, I mean, I think I'm pretty I'm a really bad poker player. So, and I've been able, by me being transparent and sharing my story, hopefully somebody else can say, man, this guy's still doing his show. I can clearly see he's struggling right now. So maybe there's a lot of, maybe that, I'm not the only one that's alone. And because I see this guy, yet he's still out there and he's still preaching, whatever the case may be. So that's kind of what I use my show. But my show, I use it for many different things. I know when I first got into this venue, it's like, hey, you got to pick your lanes. Are you going to be the this guy or that guy, so to speak? I like to think that my show is a little bit of everything, in the sense that, hey, you know what, fuck it. Whatever it is that I'm going to talk about today, that's what I want to address. I mean, I've had the director of mental health in the show talking about, what they're doing now, PTSD wise, in helping vets. I've had other individuals like Jane Babcock talk about, hey, she's not only she Army retired E7, but also she's also retired VSO. Hey, this is how you can maximize your claims and your VA benefits, so on and so forth. I mean, and I've had other individuals, veterans who are business owners. Hey, this is how I'm helping the community, and this is how you can get into government contracting, whatever. So I kind of like to, maybe it's the wrong way, but hey, I don't give a shit. It's my show, so get your own show if you want to, judge me on it. But I like to, I like to be that individual. I'll give you a platform. If you got a story to tell and it's pretty good, great. And if not, then that's okay too. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I kind of see it.
No, that's great stuff. Definitely. These platforms become super interesting. I mean, because a lot of times, I want to make sure that we're uplifting our veterans, right? It's really easy to tear each other down. It's really easy to tear anything down, but we need to be able to uplift not only our veterans, but our organizations, man. You see me wearing the PTSD Foundation. We got the VTRC on deck, Veterans Transition Resource Center right here in Las Vegas. You get all over my artwork. You see Warrior Built, all these different things. And there's organizations that are doing incredible things. And eventually I want to get them on my show. And you too like to put them on your show. We've talked about how there's certain organizations that we haven't been able to use, or even businesses, right? Businesses that are doing great things. I mean, you're in the business of helping others start businesses and helping them. You got a 30-minute spiel with them and spend some time helping develop their investment strategies. So I think that's really a cool thing. But there's a lot of things that that your show and my show do to uplift not only the people that we serve, but the people that we have on our shows. And I think that's a super important part.
No, and you're right. We have to. One thing that that I've noticed is that when we kind of separate, we leave the military. And I remember when I was doing the 25 plus seminar for those who are not retired from the military. A lot of us lifers, we get sent to this, or we have the ability to go to this seminars, inside the base before you retire. One thing that they stressed on you is, hey, don't just like disconnect and peace out from your network. Make sure that you stay plugged in, LinkedIn, blah, blah, whatever the case. However, we still do such an injustice to not only to our community, but to ourselves, that we don't promote one another. I mean, case in point, I mean, yes, my show started with you, but if you look at my marketing, that, hey, by the way, huge shout out to Vika for, because I still use the same artwork when I promote a guest or me. I mean, but I still have you on there, CombatVetVision. I still have Warrior Built, and even Veterans Transition Support in California, where I got started many years as a safety professional. But I try to be that connection. It's like, hey, you know what? I got a guy. Maybe you should talk to this individual. Or if I'm dealing with a vet that's in crisis and there's some way, somehow we can, I always, hey, man, I got this guy. What can we do? So we should be, instead of, Blue Falcon in each other. And you remember what Blue Falcon stands for, right? Yeah, being a Blue Falcon, we should be one another. Like, hey, I got this guy. Hey, maybe this guy. And even in the industry, I'm no longer in safety. I mean, I just kind of help here and there. But now I'm in the business of investing and helping people with their retirements and so on and so forth. I've learned to, and I've gotten really good at it, is connecting people and being a servant and being of service, because you never know when your next help is going to come from. So you might as well just be out there helping each other out and making those connections, so to speak, and it should be within our communities.
Exactly. Hey, thanks a lot for being on my show, man. I got to give it back to Chef. This is, he's got to get he's got to get a bunch of stuff, but Francisco Carrera, Pancho, the field op, he's on deck. Thanks a lot, brother. Hey, until next time, we'll talk to you soon, brother. Hey, Chef, thanks a lot for, being here. Thanks a lot for giving your spot. And, it's cool to have Pancho on at a quick,
he's a nice guy.
At a quick whim.
Yeah.
When I didn't have a chance to get Derek Hudnall on deck, but go ahead, Chef. What else you got today?
Well, I want to talk a little bit about when I first got out of the military. I, kind of floated along like many vets. Do we want to stay in the field that we had, or do we want to do something else? And that kind of plays with what I wanted to talk about today. I went and interviewed at a chef's training job, being with a mentor, being his assistant chef. And when we were talking, he says, well, you just got out of the Coast Guard not too long ago. You have a GI Bill? And I said, yes. He says, well, I'm president of the local chapter of the ACF. I want to call the ACF and see if they might have a OJT program for you. And I said, wow, okay. And it turned out they didn't, but they wanted to. So we started an OJT chef's training program for Vietnam veterans. It was called OJT Vietnam Veterans with the ACF, American Culinary Federation. And so I had to go schooling part-time and working in the restaurant for 18 months. And I graduated from that, and I'm thinking, they had me taking nutrition and sanitation and things like that. And I'm going, what am I doing? I know sanitary, clean your hands, do this, but it was so much more. It's like you really learn in depth a lot of things that you take for granted, and it was real important. So later on in my culinary career, I started at 22. By the time I was 28, 29, I wanted to get certified as a certified working chef instead of a sous chef. So to get that certification with the ACF, I had to have nutrition. I had to have supervisory management. I had to have sanitation. All the things that I was taking way back then that I didn't realize then helped me get certified as a certified working chef. And by the time I came
Chef,
to Los,
didn't you have to take chemistry too?
Yeah, no.
It is chemistry when you're mixing all this food together, right?
Yes, it is.
All right.
But it's a little bit different in the chemistry. Chemistry is mostly in baking. That's why I'm in savory. I'm a savory chef because I throw a little of this or a little of that. Now, the science of baking is the science. It's absolute in working with food, savory wise.
Savory is a science, though.
Well, it is, but
it sounds like I've never heard that word used like that, but that is awesome. Savory is a science, people.
Yes. And after a while working with food, you get to know that if it's a little bitter, you add a little sugar. If it's a little sweet, you add a little bitter. And so you get to work through things. If it doesn't have enough taste, maybe it needs a little extra salt or a little heat. You work through those things and you learn all the time. Anytime I'm in a kitchen, I'm learning. And one of the things that I tell working chefs, executive chefs, if you get through with a shift one day and you haven't taught one thing to your cooks and people that you supervise, you need to take your apron, put it back on, and go out and teach. I don't care if it's a dishwasher, how to do one thing. You should teach every day you're in a kitchen. That's how you continue, and why I have such a good following of people in the industry. They love me. They want to come work with me. I'm always teaching them. By getting that certified executive chef and getting the jobs that I had here in Las Vegas. I tried to get here for 8 years. I couldn't find a job. Every time I turned around, they'd say, well, you don't have any juice. Well, I'm certified. Well, that's okay. But a lot of people come because we do such heavy volume here. But that's what I wanted. I wanted to be a production executive chef. And I got that wish in 1989 to help open the Excalibur on the opening team. So, 32,000 people a day we were feeding with 500 to 700 employees. So it was very demanding, and that was okay. I love that. A lot of chefs, you start putting that kind of pressure on them, and they want to go home. They don't want to deal with it. But going back to that program, the veterans helped me further my career, helped me with money, because a junior chef or an assistant chef doesn't make a lot of money. I mean, it was barely over minimum wage back then. I think it was like 250 or 260 an hour back in 1974. So it didn't pay a lot of money, but that extra check every month of a couple $100 for an OJT was great. I mean, it was like a car payment every month. It was really helpful, and it kept me seeking to further myself in the venture of becoming a world-renowned chef. And that was always my ambition and my goal. I met a lot of great mentors along the way, and people that really just took a hold of me. And Justin Wilson used to be a Cajun chef on TV, and he'd invite me down to his compound, and we would explore Cajun cooking, Creole cooking, just a lot of different aspects of Southern cooking. I mean, sweet Cajun cornbread and sweet potato pecan pie with chantilly cream. I mean, all these recipes that went on to endorse me as an executive chef and somebody to know, and it's blessed me. I mean, I can't even tell you all the places that I've been and situations I've been in that, it's because I was who I was and my culinary knowledge. It was fantastic. So, if you're a chef and you're young and you think, well, I don't need to know that, believe me, you do. One of the things that I tell people, they say, well, what's your favorite? Well, I mean, I do have a couple like barbecue and Cajun, but I'm classically trained also. So, but I cook 200 different styles because there's so many things, even here in the United States, all the different rural areas. If you're from upstate New York, you cook one way, and you have, like Yankee pot roast and things that are really famous in those areas. And if you're on the West Coast, you cook a lot of different things, Tex-Mex in some of the southern regions, the Mexican influence, the Latin influences, even in Florida, where Pancho's from, you have the Cuban influence because there's a lot of Cubanos in Florida. So, each region has their own little niche and their specials, or the foods that they eat are indigenous to that area, and what they've done to make a bounty of it to feed the populations. What's really good, what's best. And so if you take all these 200 different styles of cooking that I do, I take a few out of each one. And when I first became a chef, I was told to take something from one chef, go to work for another chef, take what you like from him, and you work for 8 or 10 chefs. And then you take all those things and you wrap them up with a little bow, and that makes you as a chef. That becomes you, the chef, and those things, because you've learned from all the different people what you like and what you perfected. And then that's you as a chef.
Definitely, Chef. Hey, this is Chef JB's kitchen segment, and he's going to have a lot of other things to talk about along the way as we go down this journey.
Oh,
I've had a lot of time to get to meet you and get to talk to you. I'm learning a lot from JB, just like he's saying, to learn something in the kitchen is super important. It's super important to learn from our fellow veterans and what they're doing too, because this is all going to be lost knowledge someday, somehow. Right.
yes.
But I know we got to finish it up. Chef, do you got any
Yeah.
last words that you want to put out there before we finish it up?
I just shout out to all veterans. We have a really great claims adjuster here. He's got a great track record. He'll tell you what to bring to him. If you bring it to him, he sits down. He can get a date set and work on 2 or 3 hours, and he'll have it turned in for you if he thinks it's going to fly. And you're always welcome for a second opinion, but he's, like I said, he has a great track record. We help veterans in different areas. Come see us. We're at 2955 South Sunset, right next to, or East Sunset, right next to Sunset Park, the little strip mall. You'll see our American flag and our Veterans Transition Resource Center sign. So thank you, my friend. It's great being here and being on a podcast and telling my story.
Hey, thanks, Chef JB. It's just great to have you on the show. It's great to have this segment and the co-host. Hey, this is a great deal. And if you want to volunteer or sponsor, as it is, this is already being sponsored by, the Veterans Transition Resource Center for this podcast to exist right here. And it's being produced right here. It's being produced right out of the same production that the Forgotten Promises radio show is on Saturdays. And if you want to listen to that, tune into that. It's on the radio, and
8:40 a.m. at 11 a.m. every Saturday.
That's right. And so you got Brian Colburn from Sitch Radio producing this again. Yep. This is coming to you live right here. However, it's going to be simulcast or whatever they say, right? Across all the networks that are out there. And I really appreciate the veteran communities that are out there. I get to do some really incredible things, and I get to see some awesome things. So until next time, strength and honor. Out.
The only way, and we need nothing more. The only way, together forever, that's for sure.